crashing Willie's garage.
Ha!
Well, hello,
Rhondas.
You guys are Rhondas. I'm Nick, a lifelong Alf fan, and that's George watching the series for the first time. And what a good sport you are, George.
So far, so good sport.
All right. The goal of this show, we're recapping Alf episodes. We're in season 1. We're midway through season 1, George. How does that feel? We're 11 episodes in. There's 11 left to go in season 1.
And how many seasons are there?
4.
All right.
4 seasons. So the end's in sight for you. For me, I just hope this goes on forever. But the goal of the show, of course, is to get Alf on the show. We want to become so big that Alf cannot ignore it, and he'll reveal all his Alf secrets. But first, we're showing off clips from episode 11, a very strange episode. And I always like to show how Alf aired on TV because I'm pulling a lot of footage from the DVDs, but I have a couple of VHS tapes that have Alf episodes, and what you don't get on the DVDs are all the bumpers that would go to commercial. I've played 1 or 2 of these before, and this one I forgot about, but it's especially relevant for the other show I do, VCR Party.
Commercial alert! Put the VCR on pause. Ah!
That's what would get you into the commercial for Velveeta or whatever was on Monday nights.
Very of its time.
It was. Well, I don't want to delay any further. Let's get into episode 11 with a Melmac recap.
Melmac recap. Melmac recap. Melmac.
Okay, we mentioned this one is odd. I think we have a lot to unpack here, but you wanted to talk about the intro, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to show 5 seconds from the intro. I just want you to watch it and tell me if there's anything you see that's just a little strange, okay?
Okay.
You've seen it 1,000 times. One more time. Did you see it?
No, I just see Brian saying, "Hi, Alf."
Okay. Here you see this light on this stand, and that's the edge of the set.
You're right.
But I have seen, so every time I've watched the intro, I've been weirded out by the flash it's
reflection, right? Yeah.
So I paused it, and so this is just something that's in every episode.
I wonder if that's how it. You know what? I should check. We talked about watching this on a VHS tape. We should see if you could see it on the broadcast version, or if that's maybe just on the. I don't know, or if that's just on the DVD or the masters where it wasn't cropped right. Boy, yeah, I'm watching Alf a whole new way. I've been watching this show since 1986, and I've never noticed that. That is a great find, George.
My guess is that they cut it real fast for the pilot.
Yes.
And then they're like, well, when we get back to it, there's probably a list of things we'll get to, and then they forgot about it. But
they did reshoot the intro. There's a new intro starting in season 2, so maybe they fixed it then. We'll find out when we get there. But let's talk about every sitcom seemed to have an episode where they go camping or they go to the woods. Like The Simpsons did it. I feel like everybody did because like the writers just get bored of writing for stuff in the house. So let's just go to the woods. We'll build a couple of new sets. And in this one, the Tanners start off wanting to go on vacation. They want to go to San Diego, but they realize they can't bring Alf and they can't leave him because he's set the kitchen on fire in the beginning of the episode. So they decide to go in an RV and head to the woods. And a ton happens in this episode. But I thought it'd be best to start when they're on the road doing something to pass the time.
One bottle of beer on the wall, one bottle of beer on the wall, one bottle of beer. If one of those bottles should happen to fall, no more bottles of beer on the wall.
One more time!
1,000 bottles of beer on the wall, 1,000 bottles of beer.
Come on, Mom, sing with us.
I don't know the words.
Hey, Willie, keep your eyes open for a clean gas station. I'm gonna need to make a pit stop.
Again?
I can't help it. It's all this singing about beer. Hey,
we found out that Alf liked beer in the first episode, but he hasn't drank it since then.
you want to spit out the window with me?
Maybe later.
I'll spot you 10 feet.
No thanks. I'm gonna write a letter to my boyfriend.
Do you suppose that they're on like a gimbal that's kind of
Yes.
moving.
There are 4 Teamsters on either side with cigars pushing it, not paying any attention
Right,
at all.
because they're already on a stage that's raised 3 or 4 feet up in the air. So maybe they just put it on something to rock
Yeah,
it
and they
back
don't
and
have to
forth.
worry about an audience or
Yeah.
any sort of need for verisimilitude on the set other than what's right,
It's
what the camera's
interesting.
pointing at.
And I was an intern on Mystery Science Theater 3000, and I was one of the guys when they go movie sign and the hatch door would open. Me and the other intern would be behind there just with wood on the back of the set. It was just raw wood, opening the doors as soon as they said it's movie sign. So
Wow.
the reality is probably you're, like you said, 4 Teamsters rocking the set back and forth. Lynn's boyfriend.
How about you, Kate?
I don't know how to spit.
Come on, it's easy.
No!
All right, don't get your
That's a little detail. He swallowed his spit there.
shorts in a knot. I guess I'll just moon some state troopers. Make way here.
There'll be no mooning!
Boy, you call this a vacation?
All right, so they're on the road. Yeah. What?
I'm on Willie's side on this one. Willie is bored, is exasperated with Alf.
Yeah.
Actually, Kate is even more exasperated with Alf. But I thought Alf was being a real dick in this episode. I found him annoying as hell.
Well, as somebody who spent 16 years on tour with Joe Pickett, the co-host of VCR Party, he's very much like Alf is. He will not let you rest on a car trip. He is deliberately trying to irritate you because it helps him stay awake.
Does he? Did you ever have to yell "There'll be no mooning" while?
What he does is he flashes truckers because he thinks for a second they'll think it's a woman and get excited, and then they'll realize no, it's Joe. So yeah, he's my Alf when it comes to road trips. But my family actually did do, not in an RV, but we drove to Florida on vacation, and we would sing songs like that. And I'm sure my sister and I irritated our parents, so I could kind of relate to that. But they get to their destination, I guess, and it starts pouring down rain. It's thunderstorming, and they can't go outside. Tempers are flaring, and Willie gets seriously pissed here at Alf, which it seems like you're at the end of your rope with him too, George. So maybe you'll relate.
Well, not everyone enjoys spending their vacation in a rainforest.
We're in this rainforest because of you.
I vote we go home.
You're not voting on this.
Call the newspapers. Democracy is dead.
You want to go home? Go. No one's stopping you.
Dad!
There's the door.
Willie!
You want me to go? I'll go.
Fine, go.
Fine. I'm going.
Alf, don't!
Sorry, Brian. I have my pride.
Interesting that they didn't cut to the wide shot of Michu in the suit walking here.
Alf. Come on, Alf. You're not really going.
I'm out of here. I'm history. I'm going to die.
Goes into commercial with Alf facing certain death.
I think Max Wright's acting was good there.
Pretty good, because he did seem it's the most angry I've seen Willie to date. He was genuinely, I don't know if they'll ever figure it out. So then what happens, George?
Well, then first everybody in the RV, the rest of the family gangs up on Willie.
Yeah.
Saying that he made a mistake. And it was things like that I would see in lots of TV shows that made me think a very miserable thing to be would be a dad.
It's true. It's true, yeah.
Like, you have to do the right thing, the unpopular thing, and you pay for it no matter what. Either
it's
way.
True. Yeah.
And you never get your way in the end either.
Yeah, so we both learned not to be dads at an early age, and we're still not dads. But Willie does have to go after Alf in the rain, and Alf, meantime, has found his way into a cabin that he thinks is deserted, or I think he yells in, but it turns out no, 2 hunters are in there, and he hides under the bed when they come in, and here's that confrontation.
It is an ant. It's an ugly little sucker. I think it's a dog.
That's no dog.
Yeah, it's one of those expensive dogs. I've seen pictures of them. I think Cher has one.
No, that's one of those weird animals from Australia.
Yeah, sure. Then how did it get here?
Don't you know anything? The continents used to be connected.
That is the stupidest thing you ever said.
Well, look it up.
You know what that is? It's an anteater.
Are you sure?
Yeah, and it's against the law to shoot anteaters.
What are you talking about? You could shoot anteaters. I don't care what he is.
It's weird to see Alf laying down on his stomach, isn't it? I don't think I've seen that yet.
Is that what?
I think you see his fur. He's underneath the bed.
Is that his hindquarters then?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't like anything about this.
I'm gonna take him out and butcher him.
Why do you always get to do all the butchering?
Because you usually end up mutilating all the good meat. I'll get the chainsaw. You make the salad.
That's kind of like take the cannoli. Is that kind of, you make the salad?
I guess, but yeah, it took the Alf versus Yokel angle. I mean, first of all, it took a very dark turn for me, and I don't know if it was supposed to be just for laughs then, but like I actually, even though I know that there are dozens of episodes left, I was on edge. I mean, there's a murder-suicide joke. There are hillbilly jokes. I've seen Deliverance. Chainsaws. I mean, it was ugly.
They get a chainsaw with Willie. They say they're going to butcher both of them. Like butchering. I mean, it's like if you're a kid, Alf's in danger. I don't know if there's a warning before this episode, but yeah, he seems in genuine danger. But Willie has to be the dad, and he goes in and he offers them $100 to get Alf back. Oh, by the way, those hunters, one of them was Mickey Jones. Do you remember seeing him and stuff? He was like in every 80s TV show. The guy with the beard.
Okay.
Oh, man. Well, he's like a character actor I've seen in a ton of stuff. But I didn't know until looking him up for this that he was the drummer in the band after Levon Helm left. So he played with Bob Dylan. And
wow.
He also was a drummer in the 60s before that for a lot of famous bands. Here's some footage of some of his highlights. This is taken from his website. I just kind of cut together some of my favorite things from his credits. See him in the back?
Right. And now you drink it.
Look, I don't have time to play around, okay? So how much is it?
All of it, boy. Yeah, let her go, all right.
He's always a hillbilly or a mechanic.
Look, Mr. Matlock, maybe you should just relax and enjoy yourself. As long as you can't go nowhere, man.
Excuse me, what's that?
You mean the pyramid mine? I used to work there till they found that alien shit inside.
Wow, that's some breath.
Oh?
I agree. I've enjoyed your breath ever since 96th Street.
Thank you very much. You know, I do have a truck for rent.
How much do you want?
$1,000. And leave the fat boy here. Happy Mother's Day, Mom!
So that was just scratching the surface of what he's been in, but
I mean, how many people can say they backed both Bob Dylan and Alf?
Exactly. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2017. He was 76 years old, or 2018. But what a legacy. He was in everything in the 80s. So getting back to the episode, Willie bribes the hillbillies, including Mickey Jones, to get Alf back. And then they get lost. I feel like every episode in the woods that took place in the woods for every sitcom, they get lost. I just cut together because I thought the visual of this was funny. At first, I thought they had just attached like the Alf puppet or the Alf doll to Willie's. But no, there's actually, I think Michu, the actor who was inside of Alf in the wide shots, I think he's actually in it holding onto Willie's leg.
Alf.
See, 'cause he's kind of
Yeah, there's
moving.
definitely something in there.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird shot, but it's funny. All right.
Poor
So,
Michu.
yeah, there's Michu, who we profiled in one of the early episodes. So, but yeah, let's talk a little bit more about getting lost in the woods episodes. That was a trope, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the earliest one I found, I'm sure there were others, but of like the era that we would have watched either first run or in syndication, you had in 1969 the episode "A Camping We Will Go" from the Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family episode "Help." That's Hell-L-L-P from 1972. Sanford and Sons, The Camping Trip, Three's Companies, A Camping We Will Go from 1979. Of course, there's always a scene where somebody ends up naked, wearing
using only
a shrub.
bushes.
Taxi from 1981, The Call of the Mild, Happy Days 1980, Wilderness, Small Wonder. Oh, sorry, there's a great picture screen grab of Ron Howard.
Oh yeah,
that you as a big Ron Howard fan.
I'm a Howard head.
Then Small Wonder in.
I was hoping you'd have that one in there.
Babes in the Woods, Married with Children, The Camping Show in 1988. Of course, The Simpsons, Call of the Simpsons with Homer in the wearing the shrub skirt, and finally Family Matters with 1994 with the episode titled "A Camping We Will Go." So if you have a camping episode, there's already 3 that are "A Camping We Will Go," and so please add to it. If you're a writer out there.
Yeah, and let us know. Yeah, so modern shows should do more camping episodes, but let us know if what we missed at nick@foundfootagefest.com. We should make a master list of every single camping episode there's ever been on a sitcom. The ending of the episode is even kind of more hand wavy than last week. So they're lost, and it goes to commercial, and they're lost, and then it comes back, and Alpha's doing a slideshow for the family, including Lucky the cat, about here's when the hillbillies got us, and here's us lost in the woods. Like, first of all, who was taking those photos for him to be showing them off? And it's just never explained how they got back. Just never explained. But apparently the family ended up going to San Diego separately later and had a great vacation. So, and that's On the Road Again, which I think I failed to mention. That was the name of this episode. Aired December 8th, 1986. Any other takeaways here, George?
It made me very uncomfortable. It was very it was very screechy for the first half, and then there were threats of murder.
I agree. It's kind of like, I mean, it's always fun when an episode you're used to just being on the same set, the same 2 rooms that are, the Tanner house, and then you see them going somewhere. It's always a little bit weird, like on any sitcom. And or it's almost like when the TGIF sitcoms went to Disney. The sound wasn't very good, and
the lighting was off.
You were excited, but you were a little bit uneasy. That's how I felt about this episode too. I also noticed that Alf said, he used the phrase a couple times in the first act, "bite wind." And I could have seen that being T-shirts and on bumper stickers, but I guess that one never took off.
I don't know. Maybe if there's a Willie's Garage T-shirt, I don't know what your plans are for merchandising. And maybe maybe Paul Fusco wants to give us a call to see if he wants to get in on it and/or shut us down completely.
Maybe.
But bite wind is
bite wind.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the sign off. We say hello, Rhonda's, and then we say bite wind.
It works for me.
Okay. How about some Alf crap?
Absolutely.
In addition to being an entertaining show, Alf was merchandised to death. There was no product that the good people at Alien Productions said no to. And that's why it's so fun to collect, and you get to just relive the phenomenon that was Alf. I wanted to start off by talking about, there's a estate sale, where somebody has died and they're getting rid of all their stuff. There was one on Long Island, and I used to, more so than pandemic times, but I used to look through and see like, oh, maybe they have photos, you can see if there's something you might want at the estate sale, and I would kind of preview them. And I saw this, and I was like, I got to be one of those weirdos at 6 a.m. knocking on the door of this home on Long Island to get this. This is a backseat car shade of Alf that says no problem. I don't know if you can see me through it. Yeah, you probably can. No problem. And it's got the little suction on the back. This was still in the package, but I actually used this. This is in my car.
Is that for Marty then? When you?
It's for my dog Marty. Yeah, it's so that he doesn't have the sun in his eyes. So,
but in general, it's for little kids and infants, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when I saw this, I was the first one at the estate sale that day and picked this up for $5. So, what do you have for Alf crap?
Well, it wasn't just merchandising. Alf was just in the popular consciousness. So that Mad Magazine made light of it, but I think the overseas editions made light of it even more because Alf was more popular in other places. So here is the German Alf.
What does it say on the bottom? Do you know what that is?
So I had to look this up. My German isn't great, but it was something along the lines of like, we get inside of Alf, or we see what's inside of Alf.
Good drawing.
And then this one a few months later. So this is December '88. So within 6 months, they had 2 Alf ones. And this one, I don't think these images were used in the American editions. But at the bottom, it says, let's see. So it's Alf's Cat Cookbook, but it's the Gourmet Special Edition Cat Cookbook. And of course, with on the Thanksgiving episode, it was just when you showed the images from the Thanksgiving Day parade. Yes. He talked about eating Garfield.
Right.
And here is the wish fulfilled.
Right. Done prior to that, I guess, if this was 87. So
yes.
Yeah. Well, I had that Alf, the American Mad Magazine with Alf on the cover. I still do. It's in my parents' basement. I've saved I've had a subscription uninterrupted to Mad since 1985. No, 84. And every issue is in a box in my parents' basement. And whenever I go back, which has been over a year now, I bring my latest year of issues back there and store them there because I don't have any room. I ran out, but I just can't. But I can't throw a Mad away, especially not when it has a cover like that.
Right.
I wanted to stay in the automotive field. My friend Nick at Bric-a-Brac Records in Chicago said, "Hey, I found this Alf car shade. So this is one for your front windshield, and this is what it looks like. I'll just show you right here. It has kind of an alluring Alf, kind of looks like on the beach a little bit here."
I think a neighbor of mine had this when I was growing up, and it was somebody who did not watch the show. It was somebody who, I don't know how it came into their possession.
Yeah, well, it's pretty great. I still use this, and it has some fun facts here that I think are interesting to read off. So it says that Alf's name is Gordon Shumway, head size 33 inches, waist 33 inches, height 3'2", so 3 feet 2 inches. What's 3 dashes?
Is that a thing? I don't know if that's.
I think
really
that might
a thing.
be like an alien joke, you know. Wait till the sun shines, Nelly.
Yes, wait till the sun shines, Nelly.
Yeah, and then I guess Melmacians have 2 birthdays, so this is canon that it's August 12th and October 2nd. Melmac, Lower East Side, favorite expression, curiosity killed the cat, usually followed by the expression pass the plum sauce. And he said that on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. He said, I need some plum sauce to go with the Pink Panther float. Morris the cat, turnoffs, empty. It's weird that they have turnoffs and turn-ons, isn't it? Turnoffs, empty fridge, short jokes, alien task force. Favorite movies: It Came from Outer Space, Mars Needs Women Now, and Hair. Good Woman is friendly, funny, and furry. And Secret Fantasy to be regional sales manager for Meow Mix. And my favorite part of all of this is like if you were like, let's say you had an emergency, you would turn this around and put, need assistance, please dial for help. So that's when this could actually save your life.
And that's when you're sitting in your car dying and staring at the picture of Alf on the inside looking back at you.
As you're taking your last breaths, yeah, you're seeing
Right.
you're seeing this.
Well, no wonder you got it.
Yeah.
That way you know you're expiring in the way that you had hoped.
Be a good way to go out. What do you have?
All right. Well, I've mentioned before that places like Redbubble allow people to upload their own designs that are not licensed. But this is a great shirt, I think. It's with the with the anarchist slogan modified: "No gods, no masters, no problem."
That is fantastic.
So I think as far as consumer created,
I bet
great.
these are the models for every shirt. That is not. They were not wearing these shirts. This is just
absolutely not.
Yeah.
I have because tattoos and and Redbubble are how I fill out my Alf crap. There's no limit to these
it's always
two people wearing shirts. Right.
Multicultural couple in their teens or
Yes.
early 20s. Yep. But the last thing, I always like to showcase Alf art. And I know this woman, her name's Reverend Jen. She is Electra Elf, and she's hosted a lot of Lower East Side like art shows and pageants. She's also a fine artist, and I saw this on her Etsy shop, which is Rev Jen Creations. And this is a self-portrait. That's her with her Chihuahua, who's deceased now, unfortunately. But she's wearing the original Collegeville Alf mask from the 80s, and it looks like some sort of macaroni and cheese dress. I'm not sure, but you can get a print, or she even has the original for sale on Etsy. So
wow,
support Rev Jen, because this is the kind of art that I think a museum I would open up. Actually, it's just all Alf art.
I remember seeing her show on public. I guess it's public access.
Yeah.
And it was a great show. And what was the name of her dog? It was Electra Girl, and it was a Dynamut or something like that?
I think it was Dynamut, like Dynomut, kind of like
Oh,
that.
okay.
I think that's what it was. But yeah, it was like a superhero show.
Well, I have a tattoo. This is the coolest tattoo, I think, of any of them.
Why did I get me an Alf tattoo? What kind of trauma was I going through? Instead of Papa Smurf or Mr. Magoo, I got an Alf tattoo. Alf tattoo. I have to hide it in job interviews, and now I'm singing the Melmacian blues 'cause of my Alf tattoo.
Alf. So that Alf also stands for, as you, my vegan friend, know, the Animal Liberation Front.
Uh-huh.
And so there is an anarchist Alf with, I guess, the bolt cutters that are used to symbolize freeing animals from cages.
Exactly. Wow, I like it. It's a poignant Alf tattoo.
Yeah. So
what is that? Back of a knee? Back like a calf?
Up till now, I think you're right. I always thought it was the forearm. But I think it makes more sense. It doesn't like taper out the top the way an elbow would.
Interesting. That's a good one. I like it.
So I'm looking forward to you getting that one.
I'll consider it. I'm excited about next week because actually Alf was preempted in 1986 next week. I don't know why. Winter Olympics, or I don't know what would have been happening in December, mid-December. But anyway, it wasn't on that week. They skipped a week. So we are not skipping a week, but we're not going to recap an episode because we're trying to kind of keep it the week that aired in 1986. There's a method to the madness. So instead, we're going to do a Q and Alf. We're going to be talking to one of the executive story consultants. I can't remember his exact, what is his, he was, executive story consultant for Alf. I think he joined maybe the 3rd season. David Stephen Cohen, not to be confused with David S. Cohen / X Cohen from The Simpsons and Futurama. This is a guy who wrote for Steve Martin for his early comedy specials. He's a guy who worked on Parker Lewis Can't Lose. He wrote for Pee-wee's Playhouse. He wrote for Tiny Toons, Strangers with Candy. He's written songs that have been featured at the Lincoln Center and librettos for operas. Amazingly talented guy. We're going to be talking to him next week. We'll get some Alf secrets, so I'm really looking forward to that. I hope you'll join us then.
I'll be here.
All right, and what's our new sign-off, George?
Bite wind.
Bite wind, everybody.
Bite wind.
See you next week.
Come crashing with his garage.